Welcome to our channel. Why was DEI created? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI initiatives, were created as a response to historical and systemic inequalities in various institutions, including education, the workplace, and society at large. Their primary goal is to promote fair treatment, equal access to opportunities, and a sense of belonging for individuals from diverse backgrounds. Here are the key reasons behind the development of DEI. DEI emerged as a response to historical discrimination and exclusion, particularly along lines of race, gender, socioeconomic status, and other marginalized identities. In the U.S., it has roots in the civil rights movement when the country grappled with issues of racial segregation and systemic discrimination. The deep-seated anguish and ongoing struggles experienced by Black Americans in their fight for equal rights and justice. Abandoning efforts to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI programs, threatens to undo the progress made towards addressing systemic inequalities ingrained in centuries of oppression, discrimination, and brutality. DEI initiatives, especially in areas such as education and employment, strive to create a fair and equitable environment, providing opportunities for historically marginalized communities, including Black Americans, whose ancestors endured the horrors of slavery, segregation, and institutionalized racism. The cruel bonds of slavery shackled generations of Black Americans, stripping them of their basic human rights. Forbidden from reading, writing, or pursuing an education, they were systematically oppressed and reduced to mere property. But even in the darkest depths of bondage, a glimmer of hope remained burning within their hearts. After emancipation, against all odds and despite continued oppression, they rose from the ashes like a phoenix, building their own institutions with blood, sweat, and tears. Historically, Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, stood as towering symbols of resilience and determination in the face of deeply entrenched barriers designed to thwart any chance at upward mobility. These institutions were beacons of light in a sea of darkness, offering knowledge, empowerment, and an unflinching defiance to those who sought to keep them down. Join me as I dive into the controversial debate on how Trump is taking a stand against DEI and reparations. Can I unpack the complexities and share my take in just 10 minutes? Donald Trump has never been shy about sharing his opinions on woke culture, and one of the areas he's been particularly vocal about is his opposition to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, or DEI, and reparations. The debate around DEI policies and reparations has been heating up lately, with some arguing that they're essential for addressing systemic inequalities, while others claim they're a form of reverse discrimination or a waste of resources. This divide is creating a lot of tension in society, with people on both sides vehemently defending their positions. As a result, we're seeing a rise in protests, online feuds, and even violent clashes. It's clear that emotions are running high, and it's going to take more than just a few well-meaning tweets to resolve this issue. On one hand, proponents of DEI and reparations argue that these measures are necessary to acknowledge and address the historical injustices faced by marginalized communities. They point to studies showing that diversity initiatives can lead to increased innovation, productivity, and employee satisfaction. On the other hand, critics claim that these policies can be discriminatory, unconstitutional, or even harmful to the very groups they're intended to help. We're seeing this play out in the political arena, with politicians and pundits weighing in on both sides of the debate. And then there's Donald Trump, who's made it clear that he's not a fan of DEI or reparations. So, what exactly does he propose instead? Trump has been consistently vocal about his opposition to DEI initiatives, calling them divisive and un-American. He's also been critical of the idea of reparations, suggesting that they're unfair and unworkable. Instead, he's proposed alternative solutions, such as vocational training programs and economic empowerment zones, which he claims will lift up disadvantaged communities without resorting to what he sees as handouts or special treatment. Trump's statements and policies on DEI and reparations have sparked a lot of reaction from both supporters and critics. Some see him as a brave truth-teller who's not afraid to challenge the status quo, while others view him as a reckless demagogue who's stoking racial tensions. Regardless of where you stand, it's clear that Trump's stance on these issues is resonating with a significant portion of the electorate. One of the most notable moments where Trump addressed woke culture was during a recent speech at a conservative conference. He launched a blistering attack on DEI initiatives, accusing them of undermining American values and promoting identity politics. He also took aim at the concept of reparations, suggesting that it's a flawed idea that will only lead to more division and strife. Trump's arguments against DEI and reparations are multifaceted, but one of his most compelling points is that these policies can be counterproductive. He claims that by forcing companies and institutions to prioritize diversity and inclusion, we're creating a culture of tokenism and resentment. Instead, he advocates for a colorblind approach that focuses on merit and individual achievement. Another key argument Trump makes is that DEI initiatives and reparations are often poorly implemented or even corrupt. He points to instances of diversity training programs that have been hijacked by ideologues or rent seekers, or reparation schemes that are vulnerable to abuse and mismanagement. By highlighting these flaws, Trump is able to tap into the skepticism and frustration that many people feel towards these policies. Trump's speech was met with widespread applause from his supporters, who saw it as a courageous stand against the forces of political correctness. However, his critics were quick to pounce, accusing him of stoking racial tensions and perpetuating harmful stereotypes. As we wrap up this video, I want to leave you with a few key takeaways. Trump's stance on DEI and reparations is undoubtedly controversial, but it's also a reflection of the deeper divisions and anxieties that are plaguing our society. We need to have more nuanced and honest conversations about these issues, rather than simply retreating to our ideological silos. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share your thoughts on Trump's approach to DEI and reparations in the comments below. And if you're interested in exploring more topics related to woke culture and politics, be sure to check out my other videos.
Will direct the Department of Justice to pursue federal civil rights cases against schools that continue to engage in racial discrimination and schools that persist in explicit, unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowments taxed, but through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment. A portion of the seized funds will then be used as restitution for victims of these illegal and unjust policies that hurt our country so badly. Colleges have gotten hundreds of billions of dollars from hardworking taxpayers, and now we are going to get this anti-American insanity out of our institutions once and for all.